then you know practically nothing about my aunt. Only her name and address. He wondered whether Mrs. Sappleton was in the married or widowed state. Something about the room seemed to suggest masculine habitation. Her great tragedy happened just 3 years ago. That would be since your sister's time. Her tragedy? Somehow in this restful country spot, tragedies seemed out of place. You may wonder why we keep that window wide open on an October afternoon, she said, indicating a large French window that opened onto the lawn. Oh, it is quite warm for the time of the year out. Through that window, 3 years ago today, her husband and her 2 younger brothers went off for the day's shooting. They never came back. In fact, hunting for their favorite snipe shooting ground, they were all 3 crossing a treacherous bog, and it had been a dreadful wet summer, you know, in places that were safe and other years gave way suddenly without warning. Their bodies were never recovered. Poor aunt. She always thinks that they will come back someday. They and the little brown spaniel that was lost with them, and walk in at their window just as they used to do. Poor dear aunt. She's often told me how they went out. Her husband with his white coat over his arm, and Ronnie, her youngest brother, singing as he all did. She broke off with a little shudder. It was a relief to Frampton when the aunt bustled into the room with a whirl of apologies for being late. Oh, I hope Vera has been amusing you. She has been very interesting. Oh, I hope you don't mind the open window. My husband and brothers will be home directly from their shooting, and they always come in this way. They went out for snipe in the marshes, so they'll make a fine mess over my poor carpets. So like you menfolk, isn't it? She rattled on cheerfully about the shooting and the scarcity of birds and prospects for duck in the winter. To Frampton, it was all purely horrible. I mean, he made a conscious effort to turn the talk onto a less ghastly topic, but he was aware that his hostess was only giving him a fragment of her attention, and her gaze was constantly straying past him to the open window and the lawn beyond. It was an unfortunate coincidence he should have paid his visit on this tragic anniversary.